This is RPG TV. I am RPG, and let's get into the daily debacle. It seems like transgender athletes can't seem to keep themselves out of competing in women's sports and completely dominating. And for a lot of the female athletes, they feel like it's an injustice because these athletes were born with male biological traits. And that definitely seems to be the case in this recent article. I lose no matter how hard I train. Heartbreaking words of a female cyclist who quit sport after constant beatings by trans competitors as transgender rising star 46 hammers competition. A champion female cyclist has quit the sport after constant beatings by transgender athletes, admitting in a heartbreaking message, I lose no matter how hard I train. Hannah Arensman, a 35-time winner on the national cyclocross circuit, revealed her ordeal in an amicus brief to the Supreme Court in support of legislation in West Virginia which seeks to ban transgender student athletes from competing outside their biological gender. An injunction by a lower court is currently barring the law from being enforced over claims that it violates Title IX federal sex discrimination protections in education. Arensman is among 67 athletes, coaches, and family members who have asked the Supreme Court to intervene and provides a moving account of how she felt has overlooked and humiliated as she has been bested in races by male-born athletes. It comes as transgender cyclist Tiffany Thomas, 46, blew the competition out of the water at the Randall's Island Crit event in New York over the weekend. Thomas, who only took up cycling in 2018, is 14 years older than her eldest teammate. So that's Hannah Arensman on the left. In a post from her Instagram account, she is retired from the sport after getting bested by trans athletes. Tiffany Thomas, the center, took first place at the Randall's Island Crit Cycling Race in New York City over the weekend. Writing in her amicus brief to the Supreme Court, Arensman said, I was born into a family of athletes, encouraged by my parents and siblings. I compete in sports from a young age, and I followed my sister's footsteps, climbing the ranks to become an elite cyclocross racer. Over the past few years, I have had to over the past few years I have had to race directly with male cyclists in women's events. As this has become more of a reality, it has become increasingly discouraging to train as hard as I do, only to have to lose to a man with an unfair advantage of an androgenized body that intrinsically gives him an obvious advantage over me, no matter how hard I train. I have decided to end my cycling career. At my last race at the recent UCI Cyclocross National Championships in the elite women's category in December 2022, I came in fourth place, flanked on either side by male riders, awarded third and fifth. Wow. My sister and family sobbed as they watched a man finish in front of me, having witnessed several physical interactions with him throughout the race. Additionally, it is difficult for me to think about the very real possibility I was overlooked for an international selection on the U.S. team at Cyclocross Worlds in February 2023 because of a male competitor. Moving forward, I feel for young girls learning to compete and who are growing up in a day when they no longer have a fair chance at being the new record holders and champions in cycling because men want to compete in our division. I have felt deeply angered, disappointed, overlooked, and humiliated that the rule makers of women's sports do not feel it is necessary to protect women's sports to ensure fair competition for women anymore. In West Virginia, the state's Attorney General Patrick Morrisey earlier this month filed an emergency request to the Supreme Court asking it to wipe away a lower court decision so it could enforce its Save Women's Sports law. Signed in 2021, the law seeks to ban transgender women and girls from participating in public school sports except against those of their biological gender. The law is being challenged by 12-year-old Becky Pepper Jackson, who has been able to compete in middle school, cross country, and track events as a result of an injunction by the Fourth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. Lawyers for Pepper Jackson argued in court papers filed Monday that the state's claim that it is being harmed by the injunction is unfounded. In short, the application does not come close to the type of urgent and compelling circumstances required for extraordinary relief from this court, the filing states. There is no basis for this court to order BPJ off the playing field where she has been for her entire middle school career to date and where her presence harms no one. The lawyer said that enforcing the law would cause BPJ to lose her second family. Morrissey, a Republican, defended the legislation, stating, "Our case is simple. It's about protecting opportunities for women and girls in sports. West Virginia lawmakers argue that transgender women and girls have physical advantages over biological females, which ruin competition in sports. At least 8 states have enacted similar bans in 2022. I'm just going to give my honest opinion. It seems to me that a lot of these trans athletes that competed prior to in male sports that could not hold a flag or a candle to the level of competition that men provided, they are somewhat cowardice. They want to be number one so bad that they just jump ship, say, to hell with it. I'm just going to claim to be a woman since that is the thing to do today. I mean, all you got to do is feel like a woman on the inside, and that is validated. So, hell, why not continue my athletic adventures over in the women's competition and just dominate there? I mean, look at it. Leah Thomas was, 400 in men's competition and became number 1 in women's. Tiffany Thomas. Are they related? What an injustice, ladies. What an injustice.